What's good, you guys? It's Capital J Productionz. I'm back to my last podcast. That's right. It's my last one. I don't plan on talking no more after this. I've done a lot of talking on video. I've done reaction videos. I've done information type videos. I've made a lot of videos. Maybe not more than like some of your other podcasters out there or your YouTubers, but I've made a lot of videos and I made a lot of content and I've talked for hours. I got videos that go for like longer than an hour, some 45 minutes, some 30 minutes, all packed with, man, great information that you can't find from nobody else. I've done that. And, just what kind of fueled, what started it, I'll let you know, you guys, I'll just tell you guys about this. But what kind of started it for me was seeing how YouTube was doing my hard work, right? Like I do, it's not hard work, it's easy to do these, but I would do all these different videos and edit them and put all this work together, look up keywords, doing all this work, right, to try to put these amazing videos together for you guys on YouTube, all just for YouTube to just like, nope, he's talking about this, he's talking about that, he's cussing here, he's cussing there, basically being an adult, but YouTube says I can't be an adult, right? That don't mean they're right about it, but why would you want to suppress my videos? Whether you agree with what I'm saying or not, or how I'm saying it, or maybe I'm talking about God, or maybe I'm talking about, the devil, or what else I'm talking about. But, it's just, if you give somebody a right to create a platform on your platform, and you're supposed to be pushing my videos out, and you don't do that, that's a problem. That's a big problem, because it's like, why it comes to a point, it's like, why is I making these videos? Why is I'm spending all this time making these videos when all they're gonna do is just suppress me from the algorithm, right? And so plus, besides the fact I was kind of already on this path anyway, to where it's just time for me to move on. I just turned 45 last month, so I don't look 45, I don't even really feel 45. Thank God for that, but the truth of the matter is I am 45, and I thank God that I made it to this age. And, but the truth is, it's time. Like, I've already had my time, and I've been writing this chapter of social media for a while, and I've kind of talked about the most important things that I wanted to talk about. And so because of that, and the views are like, they're not even there. I don't have a presence, I don't seem to have an online presence, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I kind of expect the internet to do that. The internet doesn't like people like me, and it's like, oh, okay. To me, it just proves that what I've been saying is true, because if I obviously have hurt somebody's feelings, right? Maybe, I don't know how, but I see other people who talk about other stuff and they get their views, but me, I don't. So I don't know, maybe I talk about too much truth or whatever it is, but I kind of know what it is, and I'm not too focused on it. I just do what I'm supposed to do. But the truth of the matter is, when it all comes down to it, is that it's my time to move on. It just is. It's time for me to move in a different direction. And so that's what I'm doing. So you guys won't be seeing no more podcasts on this channel. You guys will be starting to see more of like maybe videos, different type of videos, and you guys are gonna be seeing some video games. That's right. your boy create video games. I've been created video games for a long time. I have put out one video game called Basketballer. Like that was maybe about 5 years ago. I put it out on Google on the Play Store. It did okay. I ended up taking it down. Because you always on Google, on the Play Store, you got to keep things like updated constantly. And I kind of just moved away from games. So I wasn't updating it like it was supposed to. So they ended up taking it off the market, that's okay. That's fine for me. That was just to gain some experience, about how to put games together and things of that sort. And I did that. And I did it all by myself, no help, nothing. I did the coding, I did everything. I did the artwork, everything. So a lot of you guys don't know, y'all don't really know like everything that I'm doing, so because I don't really talk about that kind of stuff that much. But if I continue to do podcasts, I will be talking about not really the stuff that I used to talk about. Is more to like how to do things or like how to get certain things done, what type of software you should use, stuff like that, how I create my artwork. So I'm thinking about like just doing different things to kind of help maybe like the gaming community. If they need music, they need artwork, that's what this page is gonna end up turning into, that, because I've already done the topics and I've already talked about the things that I wanted to talk about, the important things I want to talk about first. And for those who want to get to know me and like my stances and where I am, you guys can go and listen to all those podcasts and listen to that stuff and the videos, right? And you guys can figure, what my personal stances on everything is. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on in the future. And so, all good things got to come to an end. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to live forever. It's just certain things you start thinking about as you get older, You get my age and you start to realize like, I'm very blessed, I'm very blessed to have made it this far and to have the stuff that I have. And now just about like, let me just really just focus on the work that I do, the things that I really do, not so much talking anymore, because I've done a lot of talking, And the crazy thing about it is I'm a person, in my personal life, I don't really talk that much, I've never been a talker, like that's the crazy thing about all of this is like, I know people probably online would never believe that, but it's the truth, I talk a lot with my wife, of course, that's my wife. She's my best friend, of course. But besides that, like just any random person I meet, I'm not going to be as talkative as y'all probably, it's just who I am. I have to be comfortable with you first before I, open up to you. So, and don't take it personal if one of you guys meet me one day and I don't seem like I'm not talking, and I don't say much, it's because of that reason, right? I'm a very brilliant person. You don't just start spilling your guts to anybody. I know that. So, I mean, it's kind of bittersweet, now that I made it here. I'm glad. I've been wanting to get here for a while, and I have a whole list right here of topics that I was going to go through. And I'm like, I was going through a lot about these topics, but then I realized like, man, I talked about most of this stuff I've already talked about. Like if I go back to a lot of my older videos, I kind of already talked about most of this stuff. So, but yeah, I still have a lot of good topics that's on this list right here that I could talk about, because some of this stuff I haven't talked about. But the truth of the matter is, like, all of the mainly important things that I feel personally I've already talked about. And there's no need for me to continue talking about, especially when I'm not really getting that much feedback anyway. And, you know, I'm just kind of doing these and, you know, I'm doing all of this work and doing all of this. And not when I can be doing something else that people maybe take interest in. So, but yeah, so I'm focused on being I look forward to, I always love video games. And so me and my brother, we talked about, you know, my little brother, we talked about creating video games back in, you know, when I was around like 19, my early 20s and stuff. But I never thought I would end up doing it, you know. And I've already achieved that goal. But now that I kind of stepped away from it, and then, you know, I did what God wanted me to do, which was talk about all these different things. But now that I've accomplished that and I've done that, and now I've already talked to him about, you know, like what's next for me and everything. And, you know, I kind of come to the conclusion he never really, I guess he doesn't care, or maybe like he'll figure it out. You know, all I care about is that he did what I wanted him to do. But yeah, I kind of came to my own conclusion, like, okay, well, I'm gonna pick up where I left off with video games. But the thing is, I'm not using the same software that I was using, because I was using Unity back when I created Basketballer. Excuse me. So I'm not using that anymore. I'll talk about the platform I'm using to make my games on. And I'll talk about, because I'm the perfect person, you know, like I'm the perfect person to be making video games. Black people, we don't even have like that many developers in this niche anyway. So there's a huge demand to be making black video games with black characters. Of course, you know, I mean, I know my demographics, I know my stuff, I know how this goes, but you know, I see a need, and I'm going to do it. But with the music, well, not the music industry, sorry, but with the gaming industry, there's a lot of things that I don't see that I would like to create. So that's why I'm here. And since I've been music, I do music, I fit right into it, and I'm like, this is perfect for me, right? This is perfect for me because I've already do music. The sounds and stuff, I'm gonna have it all covered. I got plenty of sound effects, stuff like that. I know how to create them from scratch. So I'm kind of like the perfect person for this, since I was an indie music producer. Now I can take those skills and now I can put it, you know, into doing video games. So that's what I'm gonna be focusing on. So you guys will be seeing like a lot of artwork. You guys are gonna be seeing, I'm even thinking about doing like art packs, and I could just release art packs of like men characters, women characters, cars, trucks, all these different like icons, you know, just different things, right? So I'm thinking about all of that, but yeah, this is what I'm gonna be doing moving forward. So there's not going to be any podcast unless someone like, you know, really wants me to speak on, or it's enough people want me to speak on something, then I will. But yeah, so all good things gotta come to an end, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's kind of bittersweet. I'm gonna miss doing them because, you know, I really enjoy doing podcasts. I learned a lot, you know. I learned a lot about myself, you know, just listen to it, because I have to listen to them to edit them and, you know, get all the noise and stuff out, you know, at least as much as I possibly can, things of that sort. So, but, you know, hey man, everything about life is about growth. Everything about life is about moving to the next level. You know what I mean? Like we do that. We do it from the time that we're born. Yeah, from the time that you're born, right? You're a baby, you come out of your mom, you want milk. You find out how to, you know, the first thing you learn is how to suck milk from your mom.
I am the Alpha, and will make